and this is the way we'll approach all other legislation from here.
Call Scott Simpson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's a pleasure to stand in support of the third reading of what was originally the Criminal Procedure Legislation Bill, but now broken into its 9 component parts. And as the 2 previous speakers have indicated, this is a measure that receives wide and probably unanimous support across the House, so it's very good to be part of it. This is a government, Mr Speaker, that makes absolutely no apology for putting victims first in our criminal justice system. And that's right and appropriate. These 9 bills are just another milestone along what is quite a radical overhaul of our total justice system. And they contain technical changes, amendments that are needed to ensure that the legislative intent of the Criminal Procedure Act 2011 is made clear and can be applied as intended. These measures, as others have said, are non-controversial, and the Justice and Electoral Select Committee was unanimous in its support for the introduction of these measures. And I'd like to thank the members of the committee for their work, for their diligent attention to detail, most of it of a very fine technical nature. Sir, the benefits of these changes, including changes made in the SOP, have the potential to free up something like 10,000 court sitting hours each year, potentially something close to 31,000 fewer court events, and expected somewhere between 300 and 500 fewer jury trials, and a reduction of up to somewhere between 6 and 9 weeks in the average time to complete a jury trial. And the net benefit to taxpayers of these sorts of savings, let alone litigants, is just huge for those people who are participating in our judicial justice system. Criticisms of our criminal procedure over the last 20 years can be summarised broadly into 4 areas: excessive delay, excessive complexity, outdated legislative framework and excessive cost. It's been estimated, Mr Speaker, that currently there are about 43,000 unnecessary court fixtures and appearances a year within our criminal justice jurisdiction. More than 2/3 of cases that reach a defended hearing fail to proceed on the day. We can and must do better than that, sir. Our current system, of course, is built entirely on an obsolete assumption of a fully paper-based system. It's a bizarre but current fact that the system currently makes and puts in place barriers to the use of modern technology. An example of the delays being experienced is that the median time to dispose of a High Court jury trial is now something in the order of 16 months, and that's an increase of about 5 months in the last 5 years. So, as has been quoted many times in the earlier readings of this legislation, justice delayed is indeed justice denied. Our system is clogged and we need to fix it. This Minister, Chester Burrows, is a good minister who's getting on with the job. He's making our criminal justice system more responsive, more effective and more cost-effective for all involved. These are good measures and I commend them to the House.
Call the Honourable Phil Goff.
Mr Speaker, I not only want to support this bill, together with my colleagues in the Labour benches, but I also want to commend the Minister and his predecessor actually on the way in which they have conducted the process of legislation through the House. You know, in recent times we've seen so many legislative outrages, going back to just the last week of session where we were pushing through things under urgency which never went to a select committee at all, Mr Speaker. Didn't go to a select committee, didn't get the benefit of people who were ordinary citizens, people who were experts in their field, to come in and to have a look at the legislation and to make sure that what this Parliament is intending to do was actually carried out in the form of the legislation. And this bill actually allows us to put into effect the primary piece of legislation, which is a very thorough overhaul of our criminal justice system. In fact, the primary bill, Mr Speaker, is a massive 526 pages long. It's a huge change, and Scott Simpson was very supportive of that change and attributed it